I pulled up sore this morning and took me a little while to work out why. And I think I've kind of worked out what's caused the soreness, because I haven't really changed much in recent times at all. Like I haven't done much volume at all. It's basically just been singles. What I did yesterday though that was different was that I did jumping squats. So I had 60 kilos on the bar and I would go down as hard as possible, basically complete the lift as fast as possible and then jump with it. Jumping cannot be performed slowly. Jumping cannot be performed with a slow eccentric. You can't jump if you go down into a quarter squat position, stop for 3-4 seconds and then jump from there. Jumping, you need the stretch reflex. You need that bounce. You can't do jumping slowly. And so when you put 60 kilos on the bar and you try to jump with it, you're going down quick and you're coming out quick. So you're bouncing with that 60 kilo as much as possible in order for you to leave the ground, to jump. I think that's what's caused my soreness this morning. Pulled up and I'm sore. Adductors. Kind of like when you don't squat for a long period of time and you come back for the first time after a while and you got that adductor soreness. I've got adductor soreness. It's not too bad, but it's noticeable. It's interesting. Jumping is exactly like squatting. The only difference is speed. You're doing this as fast as possible. I like it. You know, jumping makes so much sense now for somebody that is focused on squatting, because it's completely the opposite side. You know, squatting, we are manipulating weight for various different sets of reps. The weight's the game, weight. With jumping, weight's zero, speed is what we are dealing with here. So how fast can you move? And it's a completely different ballgame. Like I've never done fast squats. You know, I always liked going into a squat, you know, slowly. You know, I never liked dive bombing. Slowly feel the muscles load up, feel the eccentric, you know, portion. And then, you know, get to the bottom and then kind of bounce out of the ball with control. But those 60 kilo jumping squats that I did, a lot of you guys said, man, that's scary. You got to be careful. Even my wife was saying, man, like she was watching a few sets from the window and she was like, man, that looks very dangerous. And I understand. There's a lot of concern in me as well, jumping with a weight like that. You know, how are you going to fall? What's your back doing? All that stuff. A lot of these things I'm not sure about, like what the loading should be for a jumping squat. I've heard people say 10% of your body weight. Well, freaking, you know, I'm doing 60% of my body weight here, right? You know, even more than that. So it's probably too much, but it's a sliding bar, right? It's a sliding scale when it comes to a lot of these things, because the more weight you add, the less of a jump you're going to have. And the key to a lot of these things with jumping is speed. Speed is the currency we're dealing with here. Speed kills. Speed is the quality that we're trying to address here. And so, you know, I love Louis Simmons for the speed days. They were talking about like 60 to 7%, like, you know, that's the kind of stuff that we're doing. And so that would, from memory, I think that would load, you know, 60% weight, but then half of that or a third of that would be band tension. And so they would just try like smash, like accelerate that bar as fast as possible. And it produces soreness. I remember Matt Wenning talking about this in a video a long time ago I watched. He was saying that you have to be careful with accommodating resistances because it has the potential to produce a lot of soreness. And now it makes sense, man, because there is this acceleration on the way down, and it's the eccentric that causes the soreness. So if you have something that is accelerating on the way down, that's going to produce more soreness. But with that soreness, like the soreness doesn't come out of nowhere, right? Like, you know, it's for a reason that there's a relationship there on the cellular level, acting in myosin and what's happening with that. So, I mean, I know soreness is not the best indicator of an effective training session. But if you're producing soreness, that means something positive is about to happen. That's kind of the thought that I'm having. So there I say I want to try those jumping squats again. Today was not the day. Today I went to the gym and I wanted to deadlift. That's the whole reason I went to the gym. I wanted to deadlift and just deadlift and not worry about anything else, banging weights at home or whatever. So I did my jumps, did my squats, got up to 200. I did some front squats. That really taxed me, man. And between front squats and in between deadlift sets, I was also doing some jumping. I can safely conclude that jumping in between deadlift sets takes everything out of you. Takes everything out of you. So that was a bad idea. Once again, I'm experimenting with this stuff. Like a lot of this stuff I don't know. I thought like that whole post-activation potentiation, whatever the term is, the phenomenon describes what's happening with jumping. Motor neuron units fire up, your central nervous system fires up, and this is why jumping produces better results when you squat, because you're kind of recruiting all of those muscle fibers, and all of a sudden the weights are feeling lighter because you're recruiting the whole crew. It's not just half of the crew playing the game. So I thought, okay, what if I did that in between sets? It was too taxing. I was doing sets of 3, and by the time I was getting to the deadlifts, man, I felt so freaking tired, man. And even the 240 pull, I recall, the 240 pull looked like it was just all hamstrings. Like my quads were not in the game. I've watched that 240 deadlift a few times, and I can see the quads, the legs straighten too soon, ends up being kind of like a stripper, like a stiff-legged thing. And that's a good indicator that the body's going away from what's exhausted. It's going away from the quads. The times where I really have really good pulls, when I do 260, and at that time that I tried 270, I'd stayed in my quads for longer, But today I was just like, I just could not, I was done. So something about my quads likes the jumping. Something about my quads likes that explosiveness. Now, I don't know what sort of fiber typing I have, whether it's a 50-50 slow twitch, fast twitch, or whatever. But it seems as though like when I'm doing those jumps, the quads get lit up. And it makes sense because squatting is more of a squat than it is a deadlift. So to jump, you need leg extension, a lot of leg extension. So I don't know, maybe tomorrow I'm going to come in, I'm going to try and mess around with that a little bit more. So I'm going to try, I'll come in, do my, 7 sets of 3, 10 sets of 3 or something like that, jumps, stationary vertical jumps. And then I'm thinking about after the squats, I will do some, I don't know what to call them, man. Like I'm thinking about it. I don't even know what to call these things anymore. I have to make some distinctions how I call this stuff in the book, in the log. Like frog jumps. I don't know if that's even a freaking term. Is it broad jumps? Essentially what I want to do is I want to jump full depth, ATG, up, down, up, down, up, down, without any gather, just like jump. So without any arm swings or anything, I just want to jump, get to ATG position, jump. I want to do like 10 or 15 of these type of jumps in one set. And I want to see what that does to my legs. I think jumping squats are taxing. It's going to be a cardio exercise and a half. I remember from the basketball days, it used to freaking burn you out. So once again, 0 weight, maximum speed, and let's see what that does. I'm also thinking again, tomorrow, depends how I feel, I'll probably be sore. I also want to do jumping squats with the bar as well. So maybe I'll do the bar first and then I'll do the body weight jumping squats. But basically this whole arc here, this whole discovery here is all about speed. That's what this is. Like jumping is squats done very quickly. That's what this is. And it's a quality which has woken up my body. I really feel like my fatigue level is quite high right now. So I don't know if I'll be able to do like 2.5, 2.10, 2.15, set a PR, whatever, anytime soon, because I do feel tired. That's the price of the nervous system. Like it's not that I have a headache, but like kind of feel the jumps get me going for the training session. I do the training session, it's fine, like I do well, but then after I'm like, man, I'm so tired. And nothing's really happened other than I just jumped and I did what I usually do and auto-regulate up to a top single. So I'm doing the top singles fine. It's just that I'm all in it. I'm all on board. All of the muscle fibers are on board, and I think that carries a higher expense because I'm going all in, and so I'm sleeping like a freaking baby, man. So today's day 5 went well. Once again, hit 200. Let's see if I can keep going. I still think it's better than doing pin squats. I still think it's just I'm doing a lot more volume now with this because I'm doing a lot of jumping, and I'm sore. And pin squats never got me sore. The good old adductors are sore. So anyway, let's see how I pull up, and I'm just experimenting, man. There's so many things happening in my mind. Like I've watched a whole bunch of videos. A lot of you guys have recommended me all these videos, all these channels. There's one channel I found. I don't even know what the guy's name is, but he was apparently a NBA trainer or something, and very sciencey. He talks about a lot of this stuff. Brings up a lot of case studies from the NBA, Zach LaVine, Ja Morant, all these kind of guys, what they did. I saw one video yesterday. They were talking about Ja Morant jumping onto a tire, jumping into the tire, jumping on top of the tire, like basically like hopping on, hopping off, hopping on, hopping off. And he did that and got really explosive doing that. And there's also like, I'm basically teaching you what I've heard. I'm telling you what I heard rather. There's short jumping and there's like deep jumping. Short jumping is basically all about the ankles. So like, limited knee bend, all ankles, all Achilles, all tendon training, getting that tendon thicker. Speaking of which, I don't know whether you guys notice any of these things on yourself, man, but because I'm with the body all the time and I'm always kind of thinking about the body, my Achilles tendon, man, like I remember back in the day, it used to be a lot fatter, thicker. My Achilles tendon is so, like right at the ankle, it's so freaking thin. Like it's incredibly thin. I don't remember it being that thin. So maybe if I continue this for months and upon months and upon months, the Achilles tendon is going to get a little bit stronger. And maybe with that, the central nervous system is going to engage the calves a little bit better and all that. So this is kind of what strengthening tendons done, because there's a lot of different things in the body, right? There's bone, there's tendon, there's ligament, there's muscles. A lot of people think it's just about the muscles. There's nerves. There's a lot of things going on when it comes to strength. And sometimes what's keeping us back is some of these in-between structures. You might have the muscular strength, it's just you're getting inhibited by all these other senses from these other tissues. So this is something that is not sexy, but I think it makes sense. Like somebody that benches 700 pounds, right? It makes sense that they will have stronger tendons and ligaments than somebody that benches 200 pounds. It just makes sense. It's just how do they get that strength? Anyway, I'm just talking out loud. I don't really know. Like I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just kind of thinking to myself. There's different qualities to train. It's not just putting on muscle, and it's not just about sets and reps and deloading that and thinking about bigger muscle, stronger muscle. No, man. There's so much else going on. So much else. There's tendons, there's ligaments, there's nerves, there's bone, all of that stuff. And how do you put that all into a chart, into a program to make sure all of these tissues get what they need? That is a challenge. And that, when you master that, you're a master freaking trainer, a master coach. Anyway, guys, appreciate all of you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.